Hey everybody, Rod Shelley here, and I wanted to do a short video, kind of show you how I handle things like this with the hair in Poser. This is Blanche. She was rendered in Poser, and this is a common problem with a lot of hair props, is it's kind of a pain to get the hair to lay down naturally against the chest or whatever. Here you see it's kind of up above her chest. Here it's kind of up in the air above her breast. Natural hair doesn't fall that way. So what I'm going to do in this video, and I've tried this several times tonight, and everything that possibly could go wrong did go wrong, but anyway, I'm going to use Liquify. I'm going to show you how I use Liquify to kind of get this hair looking a lot better. Now the first thing I'm going to do is go over to my layers panel and do a Control-J and make a working layer. And there's a couple reasons for that, which I will show here in a few minutes. So, first thing, making sure we're on a working layer, we go up here to Filter, go to Liquify, and it sometimes takes it a couple seconds to go in there. Went in pretty fast this time. I'm going to go Control-1 and make the image a bit bigger, and now we can get started. First, one of the things you need to see is, if you make your brush big enough and start moving the hair, her chest is moving too. And we don't really want that. So we'll do a Control-Z. And there's a handy little device to help with that. Right here, it's called the Freeze Mask tool. And basically what it is, it's kind of like a normal mask, only you can paint where you want the mask to be. And at the edge, it can sometimes leave a bit of a rough edge, and I'll show you that again here in a few minutes. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to kind of do a little bit towards her face, and down here. If you get a little bit too much, like right here by her neck, you can go to the Erase tool and erase that. That's probably good. And we'll go back to the tool. Do a little bit more masking here, like so. And we'll go to the Erase tool and take this part here. Okay. I think we're about ready to start playing. Alright, that's good enough for the purposes of this video. So we'll go up here to the Forward Warp tool, and this is where we do our stuff. This is the good stuff. So I'm going to use like a medium-sized brush here, and I'm just going to start gently tweaking. We want it to look as natural as possible. Now for the bigger parts of the hair, I'm going to go with a little bit bigger brush, and subtlety is the word of the day here. So we get this to come down pretty close, and you can see right here there's a line that's kind of ragged, and that can cause us some little heartaches, but we'll fix that in a few minutes. And again, we're trying to make it look as natural as possible. So small movements, sometimes a big brush, and small movements is the order of the day. Okay, that's not looking too bad. Bring this in a little bit. Smooth that out a little bit, make it look kind of natural. Not too many big lumps. That looks pretty decent. So let's go to our erase and we'll go through and erase this. And again, you see this line here. We'll take care of that in a couple of minutes. Now we've still got an issue here where it's kind of coming up and bouncing up into the air. Unless you've used an awful lot of hairspray, it's not normally going to do that. We want it to come down more like this, where that shadow is. So we're going to grab our brush again, our freeze mask brush, and we're going to kind of follow that shadow down a little bit. We don't necessarily want this hair to move around a lot. And let's grab our erase and we'll erase some of this in this area. We don't want it to be too crazy looking, but we do want it to look natural. Okay, and I am going to freeze right over that shadow of the hair. Alright, let's grab our forward work tool, and again, subtlety is, whoops, we got the wrong tool here. Control Z, forward work tool, not freeze mask tool. Okay, we'll use a little bit smaller brush, and again, small movements, because we don't want to mess up a whole lot of stuff up in here that we'd have to fix. And that's, we're doing a little bit of warp in there, but that's okay, because we have remember we have a layer underneath here that we can use to help us out. We don't want to do a whole lot that's going to mess up her bodice here, because it's got a pattern on it, and we don't want to mess that up. And we do want to kind of make it look like her hair is falling naturally on her chest. Kind of like that. So that's all good, and I'm not even going to erase this. I'm just going to hit OK, and voila. There we are. Now, here's where our lower layer comes into play. We can come over here on the upper layer and paint. We've got our mask there, our layer mask. Go in and select a soft round airbrush will work. Make it a little bit smaller, and I'm going to make this just a touch bigger so you can see what I'm doing. And what we're going to do is actually paint on the mask with white. So we can kind of come through here and smooth things out a little bit. Actually, we're going to paint with black because we want to filter out some of the stuff on this layer. So I said white a minute ago, and I mean black. Paint with black, that hides this layer and opens up the lower layer. And we don't want to get too crazy here because we don't want the bad parts of the lower layer to show up. And Again, subtlety is the watchword. You can see we're getting a little bit of blue through there from the background, but that's not going to hurt anything because we're going to fix that. Okay. Little bit of that blue hurting isn't going to hurt a thing. If I could learn how to talk. Okay, now we're going to come over here to the layers panel and we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to put a layer below the bottom layer, and we are going to put a layer above the top layer, like this. We're going to go to the bottom layer first, and let's grab one of these Ant G hair brushes. Let's see, let's try 6. That looks like a good one. These Ant G hair brushes are wonderful. Okay, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab a darker color. And like I said, we're on the bottom layer, so we're going to do some stuff like this. Because that's kind of behind her head and it's going to be mostly dark. And we can grab some midtones and come through here. Maybe a little bit of a lighter tone, like that. Now we're going to come to our top layer, and we're basically going to do the same thing. We're going to grab some darker color, and we're going to do this. Now, it's not out of the question that some of that hair is going to fall over her shoulder. Move this up a little bit, grab a kind of a darker mid-tone, come through here, and we're going to kind of come down this way, grab a little bit lighter, and it's just a back and forth. You know, hair is soft. Hair is actually one of the easier things to do this with, I find. It's, you know, if you use a little bit of patience, it's actually kind of hard to mess up hair. I've seen it done, but it's not all that easy to do. Okay, now I'm going to grab a little bit of shadow color here. And I'm going to come along here now remember, we're on the top layer, so it's going to show through. But we're going to do a little bit of shading there, a little bit of the hair shadow. I don't want too much because I want it to look like it's actually laying down on the skin. And now let's grab a dark hair layer and we're going to do this. Or not a layer, but a color. And you see how that goes through and kind of smooths out some of those rougher edges. And now we can kind of start going a little bit lighter, blending the hair a little bit. A lot of these hair props are a little bit rough like this, and this is one I would probably spend a couple hours just messing with the hair. I'm not going to do it on this video for time reasons, and I don't want to put anyone to sleep. And I've already done this, what, I think 3 or 4 times. Hopefully Photoshop will be good to me when I attempt to put this video together. But anyway, this is basically how it's done, or how I do it anyway. Grab a little bit of light. Let's get a little bit lighter tone here. and drop this down just a bit. The light is coming in this way, getting a little bit of Rembrandt lighting with the triangle under her eye. So it's not going to hurt if we grab a lighter color here, make the brush a little bigger, and lighten the hair up over here on this side. Kind of like this. I actually kind of enjoy painting hair. It's almost a Zen thing. You can just kind of sit back and put on some tunes and have a cup of coffee or whatever you enjoy drinking while you do this. After tonight I was considering something a little stronger than coffee, but we won't go there. But anyway, that's a basic look at my process. I do this pretty frequently with some of the stuff that I render. You know, just the normal renders and the TNA renders and so on and so forth. And like I said, you could spend a couple hours doing this to get it to look really, really good. But that's the basic procedure, and hopefully that inspired you a little bit. Hopefully, you know, you can try some of these techniques. If you know, if you have any questions, comments, leave them down in the comments below. Anything else you'd like to see, leave them down there. If you enjoyed this, you might consider a little bit of support on Patreon or my Ko-Fi. And until next time, have a good one and get out there and create some art. Thanks for watching.